Hi guys, welcome to Diane's Crafty Corner. Today I am going to show you a technique that has been around for quite a while on YouTube and other social media sites on getting texture when you're using alcohol markers. So I've actually had quite a few requests from YouTube watchers and Instagram viewers asking me to show how I get the technique on my animals and on wood planks and things like that. Excuse me. So I'm going to start this video by saying that I absolutely did not invent this, and nor do I know where it all started, nor have I taken the time to research it so that I could give it proper credit. So with that being said, there are lots of people doing these same techniques. I didn't come up with it. It's already out there, but I also have not taken the time to find the source because I just don't have that kind of time, guys. I really don't. But I'm sure that there are people out there who should be credited with this, and I just wanted you to know that. It's not me. They're just techniques I'm going to show you that I've learned here on YouTube and on blogs as well. So this works, the way that I'm showing you, what I'm going to be showing you today will work with any alcohol marker. Your Bic markers, your Spectrum Noir markers, your anything that's alcohol based. This is going to work for you. So I picked two colors. They're kind of in the same family, not really. One from Spectrum Noir, one from Copic, just so I can show you how it looks on both, because it works the same on either one. So I'm just going to start by doing a little bit of scribbling, making some brown. I chose brown. You can use any color, but I've chose brown. And I'm just going to come on and I'm just going to make some squares, more or less. I'm going to get the paper kind of saturated because I want you to be able to see the effects. Actually, we're going to go ahead and do a couple of each marker. And yeah, these are my Spectrum Noir markers that are 3 years old or more. And look how juicy some of them are. I know, right? And I use them. I'm telling you, they're great markers. And they're very budget friendly. I think 6 will be enough. All right, so let's put out 6 Copics at the same over here. We'll do Copics over on this side. I'm just showing you both just so that you can see that it works with any alcohol marker. Actually, my Copic is drying up a little bit. It's time to get refilled. It's not as juicy. I'm just going to go in and make sure that the paper's saturated. I am using Spectrum Noir alcohol marker paper. I really like this. I don't use it as much as I use my Copic paper, my Express It paper. I use the Express It paper probably a little bit more because it doesn't use as much ink to saturate it. And it cuts like a breeze, like butter in my brother's Scan and Cut, where this, I may have to run it through twice or adjust the settings. And I don't like to adjust the settings. I just like to leave it on one thing and go. All right, what do you think? All right, so we're just for, argument's sake, going to say this is a critter or a treasure chest or a plank piece of wood or whatever, right? Just some brown splotches on a white piece of paper. I hope you guys can see that okay. All right, so the first technique is to take a washcloth, a little nubby washcloth, one that has a lot of texture in it though. So for this, you don't want to be using your expensive washcloths that are nice and soft, and you want to use something that's really got a lot of nub to it, a lot of texture, a lot of coarseness. You don't want it to be your super soft washcloth. So these are just inexpensive washcloths that I pick up just for the craft room, and you're going to cut it. Only guess what? I can't cut it because I don't have a pair of scissors. Oh, Lord. Hold on. Guys. Something just went flying. You're just going to cut a little piece off. Now, I'm going to show you my little piece. This is the little piece I've been using for years. Right? It's just a little square, and I actually keep it right with my solution I'm going to be showing you, and fold it up like this so I can use it at any time. Never washed it, never done anything to it. But for today's video, I'm going to show you, just take a washcloth and cut yourself off a square. Just cut yourself off a little piece. And then put the rest of it away. Use it for another project. Okay. All right. So see how it's got the little nubbies in it? That's what you're looking for. You're just looking for little bits of texture in that towel that you can apply down on this marker, okay? So the first way is to use the Various Ink Colorless Blender Solution. It comes in a bottle like this. Mine has got broken off over here, but this is actually where I store my little nub. I just fold it up and I just stick it right in there and I put it up on my shelf, right? So I always have both pieces right there. But lately, I've not been pulling this out as much. Of course, this is also what I fill my colorless blender pens with as well, you know, to refill them. I also have a refill for it too, which I don't know why I did both, but you know, there you go. But I do use this for this technique quite as well, but there are other things that I use also, and that's why I wanted to come on and show you this. So this is the colorless blender, so it takes away or erases part of the color that you've put down on anything alcohol marker related. Now, on a further note, this also works on other things, but we'll get to that as well in another video. You're just going to take it, you're going to saturate your little nub. I like to fold it up into a little spot, little tiny spot, and sometimes I even make a little like this, like a little smooshy thing like this. And then you're going to take some of your solution and you're going to saturate your little area with it. And then you're just going to make sure your nubbies are up. And then we'll just do one of these. We'll do this. We'll do one on each side. And then you're going to come in, and let's just say this is fur on your little animal that you want to give it some texture. You're just going to come in, and you're just going to dab it. We're going to only do half of each one of these so you can see. And the more you dab it, the more you're going to get those little dots. Right? So see now how you have texture? Pretty cool, huh? All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to do one on the other side as well. Just make sure your little nubbies are up. So this is the Spectrum Noir. And this is the Copic side. See? Now you've got a whole bunch of texture. Now I'm really going to town on this. You may just want to have a light little bit of texture, which is what I would normally do. So, but for you to be able to see it, I wanted to make sure that I'm really applying pressure. But normally I would just ease in and just do a little bit at a time until I built it up to where I wanted it to be. So you can see where that gives you a ton of you know, texture. But let's say this is a wood chest, like on all those pirates. You can do the same thing. Make your wood surface look a little bit more weathered or a little bit more, you know, like it's been sitting outside for a while. And I do that by using the same technique. I just use a little bit of this solution, but there are other solutions I'm going to show you as well in just a minute. And I just use the edge like this. So I'm just using an edge. And I would come in and I would just go along my planks like that. That one's not showing up very well. I really saturated that one. And I would just go in like this and just nub it down a little bit. This one's going to show up a little bit better. Let's go back and do this one again. And then you're just going to get them in certain areas, and it's going to really make it look like your wood is a little bit older in spaces. Okay, so that is with the Copic Colorless Blender solution. But if you don't have this, right, and I don't think it's really expensive. Wait, there's something else I wanted to show you. All right, so we're going to use this on the same, this same one. I just want to show you something else. So on this as well, if you wanted to get, wait, how many? We'll do it on a different one. All right, so this is for the fur technique. This is for if you wanted to just put it across on a line so that you would get a little bit of a weathered look like on boards or on your ships or things like that. And then I've also done both of these techniques on flowers. So just think about it in everywhere that you would use, you know, seashells. Like you guys know, oh, hold on, I'm dropping everything. I use this quite a bit, this particular stamp. I like to ink it up or stamp it. I like to stamp it up with ink, but I also like to color it on with alcohol markers. When I do that, I use my Spectrum Noirs. I stamp it down quickly because it dries quick, and then I will use my little nubby and I will just age it up a little bit, right on top of the stamp, and it gives it a beautiful look. So think about that when you're using your markers. All right, so that is the other thing you can do with it is, of course, I'm looking for something to do this with because I didn't come prepared, right, guys? Never, never, never. So I'm just going to put some on my finger. Well, I thought poop. And you can just drop it. That didn't work well. I'm dropping it, but not where I want it to go. Okay. Let's get something. Let's get a little something. Oh, I know. We'll use a little paintbrush. All right, so I'm going to use a little waterless paintbrush here, which is not something I would recommend. But let's say you just wanted to have a few little dots, right? See that? We did this one, right? Super cool, right? Okay, again, that's with the Copic blending solution. All right, let me pick this up real quick. All right, so that's pretty cool. You could also flick it with a paintbrush. I've done that before too. You're going to get it wet and just flick it on. That makes a cool effect. Now, so let's say you don't have the Copic blending solution. If you go to Michael's or Joann's, you can find the Tim Holtz alcohol blending solution. And this was made for their alcohol inks, and it works fantastic for that. But it also works the same way as that Copic blending solution. So you could use it in the same fashion. Now this has a little bit of an oilier feel to it, right? So this costs about $5 or $6 depending upon what store you're at. If you use the 50% off or 40% off coupon, you're looking at, you know, $2.50-ish, right? That's pretty good because it's going to last you a very long time. So you would use that the exact same way. We're going to use this one on, well, I guess we'll go here and here since I totally messed that up, didn't I? And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to put some on the edge, and I just spilt some somewhere. We're going to just nub it up, make sure we have little nubbies here. And we're going to go to this one right here, and we're going to do the same thing. And then we're going to come over here. I'm not even going to put more solution on there. All right, and it looks really good, right? Same principle, same thing. And let's see if I can just get a little drop to come out. This is very liquidy, this is. See if we can just get it to drop. All right, or you can put little droplets on there and look at the effect you're going to get. Right, super cool. This is all with alcohol markers. All right, so this is another way to get that effect. You can do it with the wood or however, and this is the alcohol blending solution, which is, it does have alcohol in it, but it also has a little bit of something oily in there. I've read the ingredients. I don't know what the oily thing is because, you know, I'm not a scientist really, but yeah, so this works the same way. I think it does pretty much the same effect. I've actually I grabbed for this one quite a bit as well, and I've had this one for a couple of years, and I've only used maybe a quarter of it. This one I've used more of because I've actually filled up my blender pens with it a few times as well. I have a couple of blender pens. Okay, so there's that. Another thing you can do is you can put some alcohol. I've got both here. I've got 50%, I've got 71%, and then I also have 91%. Okay, you can put some alcohol in a sprayer. This little sprayer is by Stampin' Up, and I like to use this quite a bit as well just because it holds a little bit more. And you can give a little spray to some place that you want to give a little texture to, or you can use that little nibby as well and do it there. So we're going to use it on the nibby first because I just want to show you. So I'm just going to put a little bit of the alcohol solution in the 91. We'll test both of them, the 91 and the 50, because that's a nice little, we're going to bring it up a little bit. All right, and we're going to go to this one, I think. And we'll go over here. And that was with one pass over. Let's do it again. All right, can you see how it's starting to make little dots over here? We're going to go towards the middle a little bit. Now you can see it. Okay, so this is alcohol that you can find in any drugstore, super cheap, right? About 97 cents a bottle, maybe $1.27 if you get the 91%. But look, really cool, right? And you don't have to go out and buy the Copic blending solution. It works wonderful. You can do all the techniques with it as well. You can splatter it, make dots, all of that. And now let's test this 50% off, 50% alcohol. Gotta find a spot where nothing else is on this little nubby. We'll go right there. And I gotta spray this one. All right, so this is just 50% alcohol. And we'll go right here. I didn't do a good job of pushing up my nubby right there though. Give it a minute. Push up the little nubbies. Now I've found that with the 50% alcohol, which is why I like it, it gives a softer effect. It doesn't take away as much of the color. So it's like a nice little, you can barely, and I'm going to bring it up closer so you can see. And that's why I'm only doing half. Once it dries, if you can notice, it does just a very nice little bit of a movement in that ink. It lightens it up a little. It does a little bit of dotting effect. Do you see that? It's super, super cool. Same thing with over here. And then you can also take that 50% alcohol and you can do the same dots. Oh, well, now you can for sure because I just, where were we? Where were we? Here? It takes a little bit longer for it to react, and it's not going to be as dark or as vivid as the 70% or the 91%, either one. But super cool, right? And then on this last one, I want to show you how sometimes I don't even use the nubby or the washcloth at all. Sometimes I'll do something really, you know, creatively speaking out, you know, out there. I'll grab a piece of notebook paper or I'll grab a piece of tissue paper and I'll just wad it up really, really good, right? Have lots of little texture in there. And then I'll just take my solution, whichever solution I'm going to use. I think I'll use this Tim Holtz one. And I just pour it on my craft mat, which you're not going to be able to see, but I just put a little bit on my craft mat. On my mat here, and then I just take it and I soak it in there, and then I go right to the paper. Making sure that my paper is wadded up again. You know, you want to make sure that you have some nice little movement or texture in your paper. And I use this a lot when I'm coloring rocks, stones, you know, like in the mermaid one where the stone had a little bit of texture in it. And then I'll just move it around whichever way. So you're not really getting dots, but you're just getting little spaces that are more spread out. And it just gives it a little bit of texture and a little bit of, you know, a little bit of difference to the coloring, right? That, guys, is it. That is how I do it. I use those three mediums, and I can't say that I'm partial to one. I really do use them both, but I do tend to use the 91% alcohol over the 70% or the 50% I use the 50% more for cleaning off my scissors or cleaning off my workspace. I also use the 91% in this sprayer, that's why it's in this sprayer, to clean off my Misty on the inside when I get ink on it, because this will take the ink off faster than anything else will. It takes it right off my Misty, and my Misty tends to be black all the time. But so I use the 91 the most, as you can see by the bottle. This is what I grab more often than not, because it's really handy. It's always on my desk, or this one as well. And once this dries, I don't think you could really feel it does have a slight oiliness to it when it's wet, but when it dries, there's no transfer or movement. It dries just fine. And I really like the effect that I get with this. So let me show you again. I'm going to stand up so I can make sure you can see each one. Well, I guess it would be better if we had some light, huh? As you can see, there's just a lot of texture on there. I wonder if I moved. Hold on, guys. Let me see if I move this light up a little bit. I really want you guys to be able to see this. So this is the Spectrum North side. Can you see that? I'm going to do a photograph and put it on at the end as well. And then this is the Copic side. I think it does a wonderful trick, you know, and lots of times you want your picture to look like it's been, you know, aged too. So it's not just for fur. I use it quite a bit for the fur. I really do. I like to mix my browns, and if you mix your colors as well, let's say, for instance, you use a dark brown and a red brown together and you've laid them on top of each other. When you put this on there, it's going to pick up the different colors of brown, right? So, do I have anything on here I can show you with that? Let's see. I want to show you that real quick, because it's pretty amazing how it does that. And I don't think, well, let's try these two browns real quick. Let me just show you real quick. I don't know that it'll pick these two up, but let's try. We'll go right here. So we've got a lighter brown. I'm going to use the Copics because that's what's already on the desk. So we've got a lighter brown here, right? And then we've got this darker brown that we just used. We're going to put that right on top, only on half of it. Okay? Then we're going to go back with our nubby. We're going to let that dry just for a second. And we're going to take some of the ink off of it so you can see how it'll pick it up, and you'll be able to see both colors on there. It's really kind of cool. I do that a lot with my red browns, quite a bit. All right, ready? So when it takes it off, it's taking off the dark brown. And with Copics, you're always using more than one color. That's why it looks so great. Okay, so it's taking off the dark brown and it's leaving that light brown underneath it. And that's what gives it the more furry effect on the critters, is because you're always coloring with about 3 colors, or at least 2 colors, right? And so you can see that just makes that look all fur-like. And that's all there is to it, guys. Like I said, I'll take a close-up of this and I will leave a link below to all the supplies where you can find them. But alcohol you can pick up in your local grocery store. You can pick it up in your local Walmart, Target, CVS, whatever you have. And then this you can find in any Joann's, Michael's, and Hobby Lobby. Usually all 3 have this still in stock, even though it's an older product. And mine is about 3 years old. And then, of course, the Copic you'll have to order from one of your online sources, because I have, although they might have it at Jerry's or something, but I haven't seen it in any of my local avenues. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me below. You can also email me at missdidedie@gmail.com, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.